Hey, John the Tech here from Linkswell Automotive, and in this installation video we'll be installing our T-style radio into this new Dodge Ram. So these are the parts that are going to come in your T-style radio unit box when you open it up. So you've got your CAN bus interface here. You got to make sure you plug this into your main harness, otherwise your power won't work. Your GPS antenna, all of your inputs and outputs, so your auxiliary input, your RCA outputs for your amplifier, your DVR video input won't record onto it, but you'll be able to see what your DVR is playing, and your video inputs for your camera, for your right camera, rear camera, front camera, as well as your video outputs, a USB adapter, your main power harness that comes with your factory auxiliary and factory rear view camera interface, and obviously the unit itself. Everything will be plugging into the back of this, so once we get it in there and everything's all plugged in play, we'll plug that in and this will mount right in and we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and get going on the install. Okay, for the install on this truck is fairly simple, straightforward. We're working on one that's got the center console. Some of the Dodge Rams will come without the center console. If you've got one without the center console, it just has a few less steps to take things apart. For those of us who have the center console, we're gonna have to snap this piece off here. In order to do that, it's real easy. There's a chrome piece, or maybe it's wood grain depending on your truck, that goes around where your cup holders are. You'll pop that off. There's also going to be a little tray here with a rubber mat. We'll remove that rubber mat to expose two Phillips screws here. As well, in this front pocket here, we can remove this, and there'll be a screw here, and then we'll also take off the rubber piece here on the top tray, and there'll be two Torx up here, T20s. So we have three T20s here, some Phillips screws there. This will pop off, and then taking these screws out here will let us take this whole dash piece out. We'll unplug everything, and then once we get this out, we'll take it over to the bench, and I'll show you how we're going to remove the factory climate control piece, because our T-style radio unit actually replaces this piece. So we'll get to that part in a minute. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll speed up the video as we take it apart, and then we'll see each other over on the other side. So now we've got the dash piece off here, and you can see if you flip it around, all these screws holds this black piece onto the main piece. So when we get to the table, we'll take that out. But before we get to that, we got to remove the factory unit. Depending on your truck, this is the one with the factory 8-inch. There's 3 different radios that this could be in. That could be in this truck, but they're going to come out the exact same way. 4 7mm here. You'll pull that out. Everything will come unplugged there. Our T-style unit's going to come with direct plug and play. So all of your harnesses will have harness adapters. They'll plug straight into it. We'll be good to go. So we'll pull this out and then we'll head to the bench. And there you go. These are the plugs we're going to use in the adapter. Let's go over to the bench. Okay, for this next step, we're going to have to remove the factory climate controls, and in the way you do this, it's the same on all of the Rams. The only thing that changes is which climate control you have. But you can see these Phillips screws all the way around this piece. So we're going to take all these Phillips screws out, which will release this one, and then our T-style replacement will go back in, and the same screws will go back into it, mounting the T-style to the main dash piece. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll speed up the video while we do that. So there you can see we've pulled out the factory unit. It's got the same screws as our T-style unit will have. See all the same screw holes right here. So we're going to go ahead and put this in, screw it in, and then we'll be ready to put it all in. So now you can see our T-style units mounted just like the factory one. One note of caution, you will have one extra screw from removing the factory climate control, because there's no spot for this lower one. See if I can get it in the screen there. This lower screw here, there's a circuit board, so you want to make sure you don't try to put that screw in. All right, let's go put it in the truck. All right, so now, like I said before, everything's going to be plug and play. Now your main harness here actually is going to pull out your factory backup camera, as well as if you've got the factory CD in the center console, it'll pull the audio out of there. We're going to be able to use the factory CD with our T-Style due to being able to get into the CAN system, which is kind of a cool bonus. So you're going to want to make sure that you get your auxiliary input cable to plug into the CD audio outputs, and as well you're going to want to make sure you get the backup camera input cable and hook that up to that as well. Put some tape on it, kind of keeps it from coming unplugged when you finagle the wires back in. You're also going to make sure that you use this white plug to plug into your CAN box, because again, if you don't plug that in, nothing's going to work, and that would be no good. So what we'll do is we're going to make sure that we install everything that we need to. So you have your USB adapter, so we'll be able to plug in right here to make sure that the factory USB continues to work. Again, the power plug, your factory FM antenna, and we're going to run our GPS antenna. Best spot is on the dash, but it's not always the prettiest thing. So long as you can put it under the dash, so long as it's not under metal. So we're going to go ahead and get it right under here, right on top of one of these air vents, so it's kind of hidden. And then once all that's done, we'll snap the panel back on. We'll plug everything of the factory stuff back in, put it all back together, power it on, and we'll see what it can do. And that's it. That's all you got to do for the wiring. Now, putting this back in will take a little bit of work because you have this hole here, and we got to try to plug in our unit with all the plugs in here and get this in that spot. So it may take you a little bit of time to kind of get that spot just right. It will snap in. One other note is the Wi-Fi antenna. Is you're going to want to make sure that you screw that Wi-Fi antenna on before you plug everything in, because it'll be really hard to screw that back in once it's all plugged in. So before you start to plug anything in, make sure that's on there. This here you can see is where your factory climate controls will plug back in. We have the high-end automatic climate control in this truck, and so this one comes with a special harness adapter to plug in to our unit. If you've got one that's got the manual, it'll plug straight into the board. And then once we have it all installed, I will do a video on showing you how you select which climate control your vehicle has throughout the menu. So we'll do a 2-minute how-to on how to select your climate control once we get it all installed. So let's go ahead and get this all plugged in, put this dash back together, and power it on. There you have it, all powered on, working good. Everything's going to pop up. Like I said before, now your climate controls are going to be all on the touch screen. Everything's going to be all Android based. We're going to do some 2-minute how-to videos kind of showing you how to operate some of the cool features this thing has. So check out for some of those videos as well. You can also check out our YouTube channel, see some of the other interfaces we have where you can keep the factory system and add cameras, add HDMI, add navigation, stuff like that to some factory Ford, factory GMC, factory Chevy, factory Buick, some factory Cadillac pieces. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Come see us, like us, follow us at Linkswell Inc.